Alrighty, guys, welcome. Hope you guys are all having a beautiful day today. Welcome to our Sunday Stock Talk, our new thing we are doing every single Sunday to ensure that we go into the week prepared, right? We're going to be talking about stocks with opportunity, some good strategies, the approach that I'm going in with this week. So I hope you guys all enjoy it. If you do, smash that like button, subscribe in. If you guys want to learn more about trading, check out our school. It's called the Swing Trading Masterclass. We got private live streams, quizzes, lectures, a group chat, all of that good stuff, guys. And we got an awesome sale. You guys can use code LEARN to get 50% off. So check it out down below. It's fantastic. And guys, this video is sponsored by Moomoo. So if you guys want to sign up, I'll put a link to them down below as well. You know, Moomoo is the broker I use. I love them. They're free to use. They have paper trading, AI tools, all of that good stuff. Let's get started here. All right, let's get going here. So what's the approach for the week? So one of the stocks here that I was looking at here was NVIDIA. Now, the main reason is because of support, right? Looking at this stock here, we can see it hits that red line, buying pressure, buying pressure, buying pressure. Recently starting to sell off a little bit. Right now it's trading for about a 40, so it's kind of in that middle ground, getting to that undervalued territory. Now, ideally, you'd want to buy when this thing is around, around a 24. So we might need a little more sell-off here, but we're going to throw an alert down there. So if we can get some buying pressure or get some selling pressure back down to a good price, that could be a move to enter. Now, you guys can also see with NVIDIA, we do have some good, good trends. We have, a lot of good stuff here. Let's pull it back up. I think I just deleted it. NVDA, there we go. All right, yeah. So good trends. We also looking at like the 5-minute chart here. As we zoom out, you guys can kind of see that nice trend like this, right? That resistance trend, and then we do have a little bit of some sort of support kind of like in there. So definitely worth noting for sure. I think a decent price would be around the 142.94 area in that range. But yeah, definitely worth adding on watch for sure, right? Because over the past week here, let's go ahead and show you guys our trading journal here. So this one here, my storage is full. Well, I have a lot of stuff on Gmail. So you guys can see here as we go to like our weekly overview. Let me see if we can actually, yeah, we can. Okay. We can see here last week, only really 2 trades, 970 for the week. I did take Friday off for trading because I had a 10K run I had to do this weekend. But we've been really focusing on trading Tesla. That's kind of like been our bread and butter trade here. Welcome. I have 2 swing positions, EOSE and DXPE. With the recent news in America, should I sell and reduce the risk of possible major sell-off Monday as the market opens? Let's pull it up and see here. Looking at the, just the general market here, we actually after hours this week were up a little bit. So I do think though, anytime we have conflict overseas, this just puts more volatility on position. So you guys can see, the S&P has been starting to just start selling off. So it's just taking everything. And I personally would not sell all of your positions, but you could sell a certain percentage to reduce the risk. Conflict happens, and it's all about how you manage that risk. So let's pull it up. DXPE. Okay, let's pull here daily. All right, good blow breakout, starting to move up. I can see there, heavy support on the 200, looks good. All right, so honestly, what I would do, I would just keep your stop in the same game. I would just keep your stop. This actually looks relatively decent. We have a trend kind of going like this. So keep stop below like 78. Just let it ride. Personally, that's what I would do. I would just let this thing ride. And if we start getting volatility, you can always sell during the market day tomorrow. But yeah, that's what I would do with this one here. That's a good entry. You got in above that 208 moving average line. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Looks good. EOSE. Let's pull this one up. EOSE. All right, this one here, definitely trend line play for sure. Let's look at the daily. Daily hit that 200-day. What's your average cost on this one, if you don't mind? Let's see. So we have a little trend like this. Breakout of the 200-day. I mean, I would just leave stops below 440 and just let this thing ride, personally. Personally, that's what I would do. And if you guys are watching, make sure you guys smash that like button. Smash that like button. You know, it really, really helps me out when you guys do that. And yeah, one of the things we're going to do, you know, I know over the past couple of weeks, you know, we've been very, very, the Friday live stream, you know, I ended up going up north. I had to run and with doctor's appointments with my wife and all that stuff. So I haven't been the greatest YouTuber, and I do apologize for that. And help, you know, teacher. And I do apologize, you know, but we're gonna continue to grind. That's why I'm gonna start adding these Sunday stock talks, you know, every week or at least every other week, where you guys can come in, ask questions on Sunday, get prepared for the week ahead. But so what's the approach here? So for me, one stock obviously I always pay attention to is Tesla. It's been very flat over the past couple of days. That's one of the main reasons I've only really taken 2 positions on this thing. You know, we have a decent trend line kind of like this. So it's kind of in this weird realm right now where we could see a move from like, you know, 318 to 329, but the resistance is so strong there. So it's just hard. You know, you can kind of see as we look at like the 1-minute chart. You know, I was looking at the breakout here. Where was it? Right here. And it actually would have been really nice, but you know, it just felt like let's go to the 5-minute chart. It felt like, you know, I don't know. I just didn't feel confident, I guess, the best way to put it. But so this week ahead here, we're gonna focus on just basic trends, breakouts, and some basic moving average, you know, supports. So definitely keeping that on watch. We've also been looking at Berkshire Hathaway. You know, we have just this general downward trend on that daily chart here. So we got an alert set, you know, around 941 or 491, excuse me. So if it does pop up, we're ready to rock and roll there. And you guys can kind of see, you know, it's around that 200-day moving average line, I think, is that hard resistance for the stock. I've been really trying to master Tesla for day trading, but man, it's so difficult. I always end up buying way too early and getting stopped out, and then the stock pops back up like crazy. Yeah, you know, honestly, what I found with Tesla is if you're just getting started with it, take like the first 2 to 3 hours off and just watch the stock. Try to find a trend or a breakout and then trade from there, because same thing, like sometimes when you look at the stock here, you know, you're watching this, right? You're watching this thing sell off, and you're like, all right, time to buy. And you buy here at 324, or you know, here at 326, and it sells off even more and more and more. But you know, as the day continues, you know, sometimes they'll push back up even higher. So you know, that's why I didn't really trade this, is because the trend wasn't very good. I mean, yeah, maybe a little bit here, maybe a little bit there. I think that probably would have been the move. But it is hard. But I think with the combination of using the 5-minute time frame, right, to find the low points on like the RSI. Also, you can even do like the MACD on the 5-minute, I think works well. And then using the 1-minute for like good breakouts and good entry points, I think works relatively well. So focus on 1 minute to get in and out, 5 minutes for, like the more technical aspects of it. That's kind of what I've been doing, and it's been helping. But yeah, I do think like trends lately have been hit or miss, like here, I believe we took a short trade this week on Tesla just because of this, we had a combination of a couple of things. We had the resistance point of these moving average lines, right? So it was hitting them, we had sell off, the general trend line. And so that worked out relatively well. And the thing is too, is like, you don't even need to, if you have a hard time with Tesla, one thing you could do too is try to do like SPY. SPY is really, really into technical, indicators. But I really haven't been doing it, to be honest. But like, you can see the nice trend there of resistance. But all right, so this is kind of what we got on watch here. Okay, TA, looking at this one, trend line, moving average bounce. We got OGS, very similar. CME, this one here is actually starting to tick up, which looks relatively decent. So we'll see how it reacts tomorrow with these moving average lines, if it stays up or we get some sell off. It does look like it's dipping down a little bit after hours. We got BRX, another one here that's honestly just been riding this trend line relatively decent, right? So BRX here, you guys can see starting to break out. I want to wait a little bit more here. We got NGVC, still down below that KIN. This one here does look like it's starting to almost go flat, which is fine because we can find some supports there. So we'll definitely have a couple more days on that one. SMMT, this one here, honestly, we might just remove this one. Just really hasn't been doing too well. GRDN, you guys can see that first push, which looks good. So we'll see how it reacts to like the 2050 area tomorrow. Lifetime starting to move up, which looks good. And then we already covered this one here, which looks good. But yeah, I mean, and as far as opportunity goes, like there's an abundance of opportunity, like even something like this, which doesn't look very attractive, we still got lines there. Thoughts on BJ? We've traded this one in the past. To be honest with you, I think we did like a 90 moving average bounce, maybe the 200. Oh no, 90. Yeah. But yeah, this one here does look good. One of the things you can see though is how it's been flat the past couple of days. So let's see. I can't remember if it's done that yet. It has done that in the past where it's consolidated quite often. Okay. So what I would do, we know the resistance, right, is roughly at 111. Yeah. So what I would do, let's do a horizontal line here. We can see the resistance there. I would throw an alert above here for the resistance breakout, or try to see if a new trend or support will form. Not too bad though. I do like it though. We'll add it to watch list and see how it looks tomorrow. And if you guys are watching, make sure you guys smash that like button. I have no likes and 4 people watching. So if you guys are watching, make sure you guys smash that like button. It really, really helps me out when you guys do that. Also, don't forget, if you guys want to learn more about trading, check out our school. Yeah, we do like that one. Not too bad. So ideally, what we look for is just the... Ooh. Why does this look so weird? Very lightly traded. Not too bad, though, but... You can see here. So this one looks actually decent. We'll add this because I want to show you. We got a couple of things with this one. Let's go to the hourly. We're gonna do a couple of things here. So you can see the resistance. So all we did is we removed the pre-market and after hours, right? And you can see the trend's a lot better here. So we know the support, right? Support is roughly in this range. And now we can see the resistance here. So, excuse me. So we see the resistance like this. We remove this. So now we got a couple of things with this one. One, if we get a push above here, we're ready. 2, if we get a push below here, could see a short side on that. So ready to go both ways on this one. Yeah, I think that one looks relatively decent. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. This is WMK, everybody. Not too shabby, though. We got Zillow. We've traded Zillow in the past. You can see Zillow, though, has been kind of riding that trend going up. So, you know, something like this. I got to move. You know, something like that's not too bad. RSI is at a 43. What are these moving average lines? Yeah, trading actually not too bad. You know, like... Yeah, this isn't too bad. You know, for basic hourly trend line, you know, sometimes you can't beat this, right? Like something like that, roughly, of course, you know. So enter at 68, keep stops below 66, you know, for a push up to 73, if not higher. So enter here, target up top, stop below. 2 to 1, not too shabby though. You know, and that's just here. Obviously, if you set your target a little bit higher, all right, whoa, I can't move this. Okay. If you have a second, could you look into the Vanguard VPMAX, looking to move some money into this for the long term? Thanks so much and love the show. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right, let's go ahead. VPMAX. No matches. Is this a... Let me pull this up. Okay, I see it here. Let's see what this is. All right. So category is domestic stocks, more aggressive, 5 on the risk scale, which isn't that bad. And the reason why is because sometimes these risk scales don't really work. Okay. Investment minimum is 50,000, just so you know. Just so you know here. It does look like you might have to buy this on Vanguard here. Oh, okay. We'll see. Let me see what it looks like here. Okay, so the average return since inception is about 10%, which is pretty good, right? That's the benchmark here. Is normally 10%. But you guys can see, what are some other ones? I'm just out of curiosity. Because I want to see if we can see historical prices. All right, here we go now. Okay. All right, this is what we want. Okay, so we got not too bad, actually, not too shabby. Microsoft, Micron, FedEx, and a little dividend. Not too bad. All right, let me go back up. Okay, so what's the market doing? So year-to-date return, actually, it's outperforming the market. So actually, this isn't too bad. This isn't too bad. Oh, VP. So I don't know. Wait, is it down 3% or up? Offer Vanguard, small cap, large cap. Is there a way? So what I would do, message me on Instagram, Zach. Message me on Instagram the other tickers, because I'll research them a lot more and I'll be able to see, because sometimes large cap might be a little better. You might get a little more growth. Small cap, more risk, more reward, and then the VP Max. I wish there was I wish it was more like index fund specific, like the S&P, the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq. Then I'd be like, yeah, go for it. But given that it's not, I would love to see some of the other ones. So when you go to work, whenever, just message me on Instagram, Investing with Carter, and we'll help you out here. But all right, guys, I think we're gonna end it here. How long have we been live? 22 minutes. So yeah, we're gonna end it here, guys. Hope you guys all enjoyed this. If you did, smash that like button, subscribe. I appreciate you guys all showing up. And if you guys are new, make sure you guys check out our school. It's awesome. We got private live streams, quizzes, lectures, all that good stuff. And this is going to be our new weekly Sunday Stock Talk. So I hope you guys enjoy.